Hello, welcome back to Free Your Compass. Get help. Talk to somebody. Do something other than suffer in silence. Anxiety and depression are very, very real. The general population has a difficult time accepting that they're more than just changing your mind about something or get over it. Think of things more positively. If it was that simple, quite seriously, nobody would be suffering it. These statements are ridiculous. Sadly enough, though, when you are going through it, it can be very difficult to accept that it's a real condition as well. You know, you just want to harden up. You want to be tougher. You want to be strong. I suffer. I'm terrible for that myself. I hate to look weak. I hate to not be that pillar of strength in my family. I've always been the one who's unflappable and stable and sturdy, you know, always, you know, weird, strange guy and, you know, great sense of humour, laughing, not taking anything seriously, the whole works. But fact is, for quite some time, it's just been basically a little child within curled up in a ball screaming for help. And I hate showing that weakness, or what I view as a weakness. I've been on antidepressants multiple times, and whenever I go on them, I desperately want to get back off because I see that as a weakness. And I keep trying to get myself to a point where I can come off them again. Now, I do get to that point. I have gotten there several times. The issue being is that I tend not to be in a state that I've actually recovered sufficiently that all of the correct coping mechanisms are in place so that when things go bad, I'm able to cope with it and not sink deep underneath those waves again. The reason I'm posting this one is I've come to the realization that I need to get some help. I've been off the antidepressants for about a year now, and I've been doing okay, in the most part. Still functioning and, you know, overall, you know, doing okay. But my ability to move forward has been severely hampered. My ability to actually grasp a new opportunity and move with it, or to let go of past hurt and move forward, is severely depleted. I realize now that the amount of time I'm spending dwelling on the past, the amount of difficulty I'm having looking at things in a positive light, my ability to bounce back is so severely depleted. Even working on this podcast, which I'm using as a bit of a psychological release, I find extremely difficult to do because that motivation is not there. I'm struggling just to get myself to my computer and turn it on so that then I can move my microphone over, make sure that the camera's still working and that the lighting doesn't have me too dark, that the sound is okay. That's too much effort. And it's not, really. I mean, I look at it logically. It is so freaking easy. And yet I struggle with it. So today I've made an appointment. I'm actually going to see the doctor and I'm going to discuss it with him. I need to go back to counselling and start talking to somebody again and trying to sort of work through that mess inside my head. Got brought to the fore for me, you know, a number of things happened very recently, and, you know, and that's beyond the pandemic that's causing hassles for everybody. I've recently had a big falling out with my sister, and while I've kept a very stiff upper lip in regards to that, that has affected me quite deeply. A friend of mine, not an overly close friend, but somebody I actually cared about, who died recently, very unexpected, sort of really kind of knocked me for a six and really made me realise as well that, life is finite. Any one of us could go at any time. And the amount of time we waste worrying about what has happened and what might happen and not actually living. It's scary. And then lots of factors with my work life and my finances and other things. It's sort of just been weighing on me, and I'm just finding it difficult to move forward with it. So I've decided it's time. I'm going to go and get help. Now, the thing to realise, whether you're in the similar situation in that regard or not, mental health is just as real as physical. If you broke your arm, you would go to a doctor and they would treat it appropriately, usually something like a cast, to keep it in good place so that it can heal. If you're suffering from mental difficulties, then the medications and the counselling and whatever you involved is a similar idea. But we tend to ignore that factor. Somebody with epilepsy is taking a medication to keep it under control. And because they're doing really well, they don't just stop taking the medication because they'll probably relapse. And we don't look at our mental health the same way, and we really should. And yes, there is a point of recovery for quite a lot of people. But the fact of the matter is there's two major problems with that. One, most of the time when you're getting the treatment, there's no road to recovery sort of mapped out so that you know that what the other side actually looks like. So you know when you're there. So we tend to sort of leap off too soon because we've gotten sick of the treatment and we feel okay. And the other is the sense that it's eternal, that it will never go away and that you're going to be doing this forever. Now that may be the case, but nobody deals with the concept of an ongoing treatment that they're going to have forever well. Somebody has to take insulin for the rest of their life. It learns to accept it, but they generally don't like it. And, if somebody came up and said, hey, here's a cure, you don't need to do it anymore, they would be on it like lightning. Same with most other things. We like to have a cure, for want of a better word. We like to know that there is a recovery there. And that is one of the issues with the way that whole industry and thing is treated, is that it's treated as if it's there forever. And it isn't necessarily. But then we, on the flip side, jump off it too soon as well, so we don't recover properly. Like taking the cast off the arm too early. It might be okay, it might feel alright, and you could get away with it. But if the wrong thing happens at the wrong time, it's weaker and it'll snap. And you go right back to square one. And therein lies the problem. Don't think you're fine and move away from your treatment. Continue with it and get appropriate professional advice as to where you're at before you change it. The professionals may agree, and then they may also say, keep an eye out for this and this and this and this, and if this happens, then come back, you may need help to get through it. So that way you're sort of pre-planned, pre-aware of what you need to do. that's the advice that I want to put in out there, and just a little bit of knowledge there, just to say that there is nothing wrong with suffering a mental illness. It's like looking down on yourself because you caught a cold, or beating yourself up because you've got diabetes. It's not your fault. It's not a horrific thing, and you can deal with it. It can be done. You just need to. You just ultimately just need to be brave enough to take that step, get that help, because the alternatives are pretty horrible, really. You just live in this constant state of blah, or worst case, you make the horrific mistake of ending it, and that's not a good solution. None of those are good solutions. Get help. It might get better. I'm just going to leave it there, but thank you very much for listening. Stay posted. I'll keep you up to date to how I'm going. And of course, I'm going to continue with my talks on my journey. For all of those who have been listening, thank you very much. I've noticed that I've had a couple of downloads in almost every area of the globe. I'm not exactly what I would call a popular download option yet, but it's interesting to see that I'm out there. So thank you very much. And if you're one of them, thank you. If you're a regular listener, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Other than that, thanks a lot. I'll catch you next time.